Meeting to order at 10 o'clock. We're here for an ambulance service district update and information on a contract that needs to be renewed, etc. So I'll start off with Bruce.
We have the mechanics contract that we never renewed. It was due in May. So we've been having him working with no contract. So I think we need to get it updated. And Shell, I'll turn it over to you.
You did.
Really more updates. You have the email on it. Everything's the same as legal put out, other than the dates and the weight. So it was requested at the 65 instead of 55, and then a full year from September 1.
The previous one was 6 months or something.
Yeah, because we had asked about him getting insurance in 3 months.
Yeah.
3 months. Yeah.
He now
Okay.
has insurance, and that's in here as well. I think my only question on the contract was paragraph 8, just making sure I understood it. Authorization to respond to administrative requests. Receives requests from any individual acting in any official capacity. So who does he answer to as far as taking care of maintenance?
Basically the chief.
The chiefs directly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's
They have in their contract, the contractual obligation has verbiage in there as we needed to from historic practices, and then as the points of contact for maintenance, repairs, those types of things, because it's under their care.
okay. That makes sense. All right. Bruce, anything else you want to say about that other than we need to get it renewed?
We just need to get it on board.
Okay. So we can get it on the agenda for a approval.
And we have a
'Cause we
meeting
can't
on
take
the
action today.
21st. So, yeah, if we could get your okie dokie on it next week or whatever, and then the week after we can, or even the week after, we can do at our meeting and pretty much just,
Do we even know when he's going to physically be able to come back?
he goes for his final checkup Thursday, or his first checkup, I should say, and then we'll know after that.
Okay.
As far as
What's the plan in the meantime if something needs done on an ambulance? I mean,
we have our mechanic, Josh Bird, at District 3 shop, said he would fill in for him and help out if it's fairly simple stuff.
I've mentioned it to both the chiefs too.
And we have Dave Smith.
End of last week, just go ahead and go to the show.
okay. All right. Anything else from the ambulance district that you want to update us on?
No, thank you for passing the budget. New ambulances. I did get in touch with Colleen about the new ambulances, and we need a invoice so we can get the grant money, which is in the process, so we can get moving on at least one of them and go from there. I haven't heard a word anymore about the ambulances of you.
No, that's good.
We're hoping around first of the year.
Oh yeah, as far as yeah.
The new one.
For both?
We don't know.
No.
Okay.
It's
For-
one's gonna be early, probably January. One's gonna probably be 4 to 5 months out.
Okay. That's good news.
It is.
It's kind of hard to do the job without ambulances.
And we've been lucky that Zach's got them held together enough that we've had a couple bugs worked on, a couple of them with electrical problems, but the guys seemed to hammer it out and got it fixed, so we haven't missed any calls or any close calls by missing or nothing.
So will we be putting any of our current ambulances out of service when the new ones come?
That's a discussion that both boards probably should take up. Well, at least one.
One needs to go.
The 11.
I don't know the number.
Yeah, anyway, the oldest one is a gasser. It needs to go while it's still running. We get some money out of it.
Right.
I believe we have an auction coming up here in another week or two.
The county has one tomorrow,
Tomorrow it is, to get rid of that other ambulance. So,
hopefully.
One is down now. It was with, but it was just the, it was still functioning, operating the AC. So they're waiting on parts for that. And Zach was good with putting that in. It seemed fairly straightforward when that came back in for parts.
Okay.
So everything else for last month's meeting was call volume was fairly consistent. Had a few days in there where multiple cleared out as far as callbacks for both D1 and D2 for that third out ambulance, which is rough. But then again, that's why you saw what you saw within the budget side of things as well. So.
Okay. And you passed my compliments along, I hope, that I got from that citizen on how nice it was to have an ambulance respond as fast as it did.
And we do, and the department's bragged about it. I'll emphasize again, we do have 3 paramedics, and we are staffing 24/7 paramedics. So that's a good thing, and it seems to be, well, it's already saved us 3 times. So we're good there, and we'd like to see more coming.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you'd like to share?
That's about all I can think of.
No,
Unless
anything?
Matt brings something up. Or...
That's just what we talked about last night. Remember when Brands came here and did his budget presentation to you guys? Didn't he say that we were down 300 calls from last year? And Bruce, I know he was talking about we were losing revenue. And because we were down 300 calls, you could see the population was getting younger here in the valley, but he didn't know what was going on. Anyway, Bruce, what was telling me last night was our revenue's down, but our calls are staying the same.
It's just, we're getting a lot of lift assist, repeat calls for, well, one call in Mullen alone, we'd go 3 times a week and never be transported, so we have to count those as calls and no money and no income, so therefore you're looking at what, $200 a whack trying between the wages and the
Time to.
fuel and everything else to get them up there. But we had a problem with the numbers being down for finances.
Well, and a big part of that, to clarify, the revenue that Brands was talking about was off a projection. So you take a 6-month projection. What we're actually seeing now through the billing company is similar numbers to last year. So again, they seem to have some kind of slowdown towards the end of July, August, as far as the billing cycle goes. We've had numerous discussions with them, as you can imagine. But the numbers are, the feedback that we got from the last meeting, Scott's talked with them, Chief of District 2, quite extensively, are going to be very similar financially to last year. So whatever Brands talked about, again, was a projection from a point in time. That's looking on par from last year.
And we're thinking that the bigger cities are probably getting more attention
From the billing company?
because they're busier right now than we are.
So the bigger the departments, larger billings. So some of our feedback is pretty rough to get in there, but once we do, we have their ear. Scott's able to handle what we need to, but it does take a little bit to get back. We're pretty small potatoes in the billing cycle.
Do you have any other comment?
No, that was
Okay.
So
All
very
right.
very limited on who does the billing as far as looking at companies.
So we brought up 3 companies the last time. What we kept coming back to is we're going to be the small potatoes with most of them. We did our due diligence in finding this company and transitioning it over based on what Kootenai has done. But again, their billings are, I don't know, I'm guessing about 10 times.
Yeah.
So the response is much different. We were going to go down the road doing some solicitations, and I believe one company is being requested to see if we can get a package together. I believe one of the last meetings you were at, I mean, this was, maybe you were 3 or 4 months ago. We are looking at one, I think it was like McCall or something like that. But then if you talk with Ada County or Kootenai County, it's the same company we're using.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
in the company before that the corporation had was even worse.
Yeah, we're not going to that.
Is that the one out of Montana? or
Yeah,
out of
Missouri.
Washington? I think they have one in Washington one time too, and it's all about the same.
Quantity and, yeah. Well, I appreciate what you guys are doing, and we'll schedule this for the next available meeting here, probably next week. So.
We did have our secretary, Lori, is gonna resign. I think she's pretty much kind of just sticking around till we can find somebody, so. We are in the hunt for secretary now.
Now, will that duty change any with the county taking over some of the functions?
We're still working through the dynamics. I think the change with potentially Mary Brenn's position, that position, talked with Tammy quite extensively, as I sat down with her after the budget side of things as well. Yes, but we don't know how, like what it actually looks like. So are we able to combine those? We talked about the percentages again for the ambulance service district. For example, payroll. Payroll is handled by the fire department as contractual base. Tammy's the county will handle the billings and the receivables, payables, that type of thing as it comes in. It's all transitioned again through the receivable side with the billing company. But as far as the payables go out, it doesn't have the level of other departments because the payroll is non-existent within the ambulance service district. It's all contractual based. District 1, District 2 are handling those. So what does it look like to transition the bills? Is it as simple as going to the PO box on the ambulance service district, or getting input from District 1, District 2, and making sure they sign off on them? That those did happen before they come in, compared to what we're doing now. So I think we have to bring it up in the next meeting and see what the goals are, and then see what Tammy's expectations are and balance that out.
Yeah, so it might be a good opportunity to alter the job description to fit what the new need is.
Correct.
Basically, probably just file really, send, Tammy will do the bills, so.
But it's going to be a little bit more than that, because again, we want the secondary checkoff. We have to have a secondary checkoff that, yes, this did come through it as an expense for District 1, District 2. Is it the chief's responsibility, and then is it handled to some extent by the ambulance service district before it comes to Tammy's for final payment? So it's kind of that balance.
You still got your meetings to take minutes and all that.
And the minutes, and the record retention side of things.
Okay, we'll get through this.
Well,
There's nothing new about change around here.
No, that's for sure. I mean, nothing's refined yet, so.
Well, thank you guys for taking time to come in. We'll get this on the schedule, and we'll just keep moving forward. Appreciate it.
All right.
That this meeting is adjourned.